Hey guys, I want to talk today about a concept that is maybe a little bit of a soapbox for me, but I think that it's a really important concept when it comes to having a healthy relationship with food and moving away from kind of the mentality of the diet mentality. And that is that food has no moral value. I think we need to change the language that we use about food and our perception about food and avoid classifying foods as good or bad or clean or junk. Now, there's no question that some foods are healthier for you, they contain more nutrients. Um, and those are the ones that we tend to refer to as good foods or clean foods. But the problem with using those words, those labels, is that they attach a moral judgment to the foods. And so just changing the language about it will also change our perception about it, because even um, quote unquote junk food, what we might term as that, can have its place. For example, gummy bears, maybe, we wouldn't really consider them a quote clean food or a healthy food, um, but they can have their place if you need, say you're doing an endurance event and you need just a quick shot of energy. Those are a totally acceptable, quick, easy on the stomach way to get that. And so even the less nutritious food has its place. I mean, what's a birthday party without at least a small piece of cake? And, but if we have this idea that cake is a no-no or cake is bad, then we have this sense of guilt about eating it within the proper context. And I don't believe that there should ever be guilt associated with eating. Eating is a basic function that we all have to do in order to survive. Why would we want to attach guilt or shame to something that is necessary for our survival? So it's really just about the way you view it, your perception, and the language that you use. Now, that's not to say that there's not foods that we shouldn't limit because of the empty calories, the lack of nutrition. They're not optimal for us, but that doesn't mean that they should be avoided. I mean, there are foods that should be avoided under certain circumstances for some people. If there's a food that triggers cravings for you, or that you have an allergic or a GI upset reaction to, or something like that, we don't want to eat foods that are going to cause us problems, but but we're avoiding those because they're causing us problems, not because the foods themselves are inherently bad, or it's not a moral judgment. It's just a wisdom judgment. And so I just like to make that differentiation, because I feel like those buzzwords of clean and versus junk just do a disservice to us, because then when we choose to eat those foods, then we tend to shame ourselves and have guilt associated with that. And I just think that that is so unnecessary. So make wise choices, but don't attach a moral judgment to it, unless you're stealing the food, or or some other immoral act to obtain the food. Then there's nothing to feel guilty about in eating that food that you desire, even if it's less nutritious than another option. So just remember, food has no moral value, it just has nutritional value, and even less nutritious foods can have their time and place.